How to start an online business so you can work from anywhere. What's up, everybody? I'm your girl Salua. I am a business and marketing coach, and I help digital entrepreneurs to grow their online business. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for new video like this every Thursday. Today's topic is going to be about how to start your online business so you can work from anywhere. But the format is going to be a little bit different because I was invited to a conference in Germany, Ingolstadt, Germany, where I held a conference to a live audience, but I was in Belgium and they were in Germany. So I'm going to share with you my presentation today. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, so I am going to talk about today on share a little bit about my story and also share a few tips on how to run an online business. So I'm very interactive. I can't really see you because I'm far away on this computer, but I'm really for questions. So if there's at any time a question, just raise your hand. And then I think Franz or Laura can maybe take the question and send it to me, or even write it on the laptop. But I'm really open to that, and also that'll help me understand what you really want to learn, and I can navigate my presentation that way. Sounds good?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Awesome. All right, so let's get started with the presentation. So today we have half hour. So in that time, I want to give you as much value as possible. So if we don't have the time to go over this, I'm trying to branch it over, but if you have specific questions, go ahead and ask, and then I will diving into more details into it. Other than that, we today are going to cover a little bit about my story, what you need to know before you launch an online business if you don't have one. If you don't know what kind of business to start, we're going to go over that as well. I want to go over what to choose between a service versus a product-based business, what type of online business owners are out there, and then what kind of online business you can start today with practically no money. So I think some of you, well, raise your hand if you already have an online business. So everybody, that's good.
Yeah, I think all.
Okay, cool. So eventually I'd love to learn what you do. So this could be a good refresher for you. And then, yeah, if you want me to diving into something more specific, I'd be happy to do so. All right, so brief introduction so you'll know who I am and why the hell you should listen to me. So first, my title really is a business strategist and a digital marketing specialist. So what I essentially do is I help either startup to build a business with the strategy and the digital marketing part, or if you already have an online business, I'll help you grow it using the digital marketing aspect. I have worked for Google when I was in the US, and my job was to oversee 60 marketing agencies in my book in Google Ads, which amount to over $3 million in revenue. I ran my own social media marketing agency where I was focusing on Facebook and Instagram ads. Then I started a program where I help entrepreneurs now launch their online business, and especially now with what's going on in the world, I feel this is really the best time to start and really invest in your ads because it's really low prices. So do the best you can to really grow your online business because this is really the perfect time, I feel. And then I've moved to New York City. So I'm originally from Morocco. I grew up in Belgium. And then about 16 years ago, I moved to New York City, and I made it my home ever since, until last year when I decided to go around the world and travel working from my laptop. And this has been a life-changing experiences. And for some reason, life brought me to Ingolstadt, Germany, which is really strange. I don't know how I ended up there. I just have a friend who ended up moving there, and she called me up, and then I found the co-working space, and I met Laura, and here I am. Okay, so these questions are the question I usually ask clients who want to start an online business. So if you already have an online business, this could be a good refresher. And if you're struggling a little bit, you might want to think about these questions to start on business. The reason why this is important, it's because running an online business to become an online entrepreneur is not for everyone. This is very difficult. This long journey. There's benefits obviously to it, but there's also a lot of negative points to it. And so I always tell people, you can find a really, really good job in a very good company who will take care of you, and you don't need to deal with all the inconsistency of running an online business. Or if you're someone like me that just really enjoy navigate life through uncertainty and really see things happening, then being an online entrepreneur is for you. So those questions are you willing to give up your steady income to work for yourself? Are you willing to work long hours after work to build that online business? And I always say, if you have a 9 to 5, you have to think about working at least 4 hours a day after work and on the weekend if you want to see your business grow, especially the first year. Are you willing to put your family in the burden of not having consistent income? This is another thing, especially at the beginning, because when you work for companies, they offer you all these benefits, and it's you are a little bit more comfortable than when you have to work for yourself. Are you willing to be disciplined? And this one, my friend, is really what is going to make the difference between someone who is going to survive as a business owner compared to someone who is not. And that's really taking your business seriously by being very disciplined. And when I mean discipline, is to have a steady workflow, having schedule, create systems and automation, and really have a disciplined way of working. At least at the beginning, you know, till you get stuff going, and then you can be a little bit more lenient. And then the last one is you're gonna have to live with a tight budget, especially at the beginning, until you'll be able to replace your income with what you're making from your business. So can I get a thumbs up if everybody's with me? Good, good. Awesome. So now some of you already have a business, but if you are interested in starting another one, this formula you can use for any type of businesses. And that could also be a good refresher for you. So this chart is not from me, but this what I call the rule of 3. And a lot of times I have people who ask me, but I want to start a business, but I don't know what. And this is the rule I always recommend to follow. You want the future business of yours to follow those 3 things. Number 1, pick something you love. And the reason is, at some point in your business journey, you are going to struggle. This is part of the journey of becoming an entrepreneur. And that's okay. But if you pick something you really love, you will keep going. That's the only thing that will keep you going. But if it's something you already don't like and you're doing it just for the money or because you have to, you are going to give up. So pick something you love, very important. The second thing is pick something you are skilled at or that you're good at. And because if you don't, you are either gonna have a bad reputation. And for the service-based business like me, a reputation is crucial and very, very important. Like we live up on reviews, like reviews and testimonials are very important for service-based businesses. For products as well, but products you can always negotiate. You can send another product back, you can refund. But service is a different thing. So if you are going to be doing a business, pick something you're good at. And the other negative point to that is you're going to send the people who are potentially going to be your client to your competitions because you're not good at what you're doing. And then the third one, and that's very important, is pick something that the market needs. Too many people trying to create businesses either to follow a trend, or because they just have an idea. But the key is to figure out what the market needs. And what I usually say is, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, solve a problem. Find a problem in this society and solve it. And when you solve a problem, you are not going to be worried about making money. So whatever the market needs, whatever you're good at, and whatever you love. That's the rule of 3 for you. Okay? So I put this quote up here. I don't know if you can read it. It's, the quote is about really living picking a business that you love. So I'm gonna read it for you. So your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do something that you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle, as with all matters of the heart, you will know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking until you find it. Don't settle. I hope you found inspiration for this. Everybody's with me? Give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So this is also a great one. What business should you start? Service or product? So we're going to go over this very briefly, because I'm assuming most of you have an online business, so service-based. Is there anybody here doing e-commerce? Two?
Yes.
Two people. Okay, cool. I'd love to know more about that in a second. So product, you have a physical product, and service, you sharing value, skills, and expertise. So having a product, so the negative about products, so e-commerce is one thing, but if you do have a brick and mortar store, it's going to cost you a lot more to get started. Startup costs, inventory, manufacture, cost of display, and then most of e-commerce website cost a lot more money than a regular website, and then you want to keep up with the demand, which means that you cannot afford not to have enough inventory on your website. And that includes e-commerce. If you're doing drop shipping or anything else, you always want to make sure you have enough products for the demand. On the positive side, you can touch the product if you have a store. People make purchases more easily than if it was a service. And it's very easy to determine the value because all you got to do is your market research. Drop shipping is a positive thing as well. And then it's easier to sell because you can demonstrate, you can show people how to use this product. So if you are debating on doing a product versus service, in that case, those are the benefits and the negative ones for having a product-based business. And by the way, you can do both. You can have a service-based business, build a brand, and then sell those products that are related to what you have to offer. For example, Tony Robbins is one of them. People know Tony Robbins, yeah? No, nobody knows. Okay, so he's like a guru in self-development in the US. Been doing this for years. I think he's worth $500 million. It's huge. And so he built a whole brand where now he sells, on top of his events and his speaking gigs and all that, he has a bunch of products, books, ebooks, organizer, cup of coffee, mugs, you name it, shirts, hats, and you can do that if you have built a proper brand with your business. When you have a service like I do, the negative points of this is that it requires to build relationship. And that is the hardest part of all, is that, for example, in my case, I sell consulting services as well as programs. People need to like, trust, and know me. So the like, trust, and know factor in order to buy from me. And that takes a really long time. Like I mentioned before, your reputation is very important. You need to constantly invest in yourself, which means I spend a lot of money constantly learning about the new trends and where I should be investing in my business, etc., etc. I have to build an audience. So here's a tip for you. Lots of time, mainly in the service businesses, people want to sell packages and products right away. It's like, well, I have this amazing program on how to, I don't know, grow my my followers on Instagram, and nobody buys it. The reason why no one buys your products or your digital products yet when you have a service-based business, it's because you need to first build a brand and an audience. This is where it starts. Build your audience, your group of followers, people who love what you have to say. And then when you have that in place, you can then sell whatever you want. And that doesn't require a lot. You can have a list of 500 people on there and make offer there and people will buy from you. But it needs to be your own brand. How you do that is by sharing consistent, that's the key word, consistent and quality content. You do not have to be afraid of sharing your knowledge out there consistently, so people start to think about you as the expert in your field. And when you have a package to sell, then they'll buy. The other thing you need to know is when you sell packages, you need to have different level of packaging. And of course, I'm talking more about what I know worked for me and my clients. If you are in a business that is completely different from mine, this may be different, but I'm sharing my expertise here. When you have different levels, you actually offering people different options to buy from you. So you can have a $200 program, and then a $500 program, and then $1,000 programs. And depending on where they are, they might just upsell it. So you from one to the other to the other. What I just mentioned here was some of the negatives. The positive part about having a service business is obviously I'm talking about the US, you can start with practically no money, and you don't even have to speak English technically. In the US, you can speak Spanish, just start a business and you're good to go. So it almost doesn't cost anything. You can charge whatever you want for your services. There's really no say. You can create different business model for the same product, which is really cool. So for example, let's say I'm teaching you how to start an online business. With that same product, one product, I can create a membership site. I can create online courses. I can offer one-on-one coaching sessions. I can offer group coaching session. I can do events, all of that on that one topic. And that's going to diversify my income. So those are the positive notes about having a service-based business. And that's it for that. So to summarize, if you want to start a business, the service-based business are definitely less expensive than the product-based business because there's no inventory, no startup cost, and the physical location is often irrelevant. That's why I decided Belgium. Duh. No, I wish I could go under the sun right now, but hopefully soon because the weather is just not good here neither. All right. Does anyone have questions?
No.
Quiet audience, quiet audience. Okay. Don't be shy, huh? Don't be shy, please. Okay. So this is an interesting topic here, I feel. It's the type of business owner that are out there. And maybe you can find where you are in these fours. So brief overview, we have the remote employee. So that's the person who works for a company, but they don't work at the office. Sometimes they have to go there once a week, maybe twice, but mostly they work remote. But they get the same benefits and they have a boss and they have to follow certain rules. So that we call it a remote employee. A freelancer is somebody who work for themselves and they work either based on services by the hour, day, job, gig, whatever. So that could be something like a journalist, a copywriter, a designer, a performer. These are freelancers. They pay their own taxes, but they are still employed by a couple of clients and usually steady ones. So we call them freelancers. Then you have the solopreneur. That would be where I am. Solopreneur are somebody that are really massively focusing on building one major thing, usually a brand, long-term, and they have a couple of assistants. In my case, I have 2 VAs that are outsourced and thank God for that. And they helping me build my business. But essentially what I'm doing is to build this vision that I want to see grow. And then the entrepreneur is somebody like Jeff Bezos or the Google people who are building a company with the vision of having a major business with them hiring employees. And they can have a variety of business along their career, but they do not focus on the nitty gritty. They are the head of the business. They hire out and they are very specific and systematic with having different level of managements, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe you can see yourself and find out where you are in those 4 ones. But I thought this was a great way to kind of categorize and see where you are. Okay, let's move on. Type of online business you can start today. So like you mentioned, some of you already are doing that, but I wanted to go over this list very quickly because this is fascinating how many jobs and business you can create for yourself today. Some of them require obviously time because you want to invest in yourself mentally in all of this. You want to acquire the knowledge, but you don't need anything to get started. You can do any of these ones here today. So let's go over a few of them. And I would love to know if some of you are actually doing this already. So blogger, everybody knows that. The way a blogger makes money. First of all, it's the same thing I mentioned earlier. You have to build an audience. You have to be consistent, and then you have to want people to really want to read what you have to write, what you have to say. But the way you can make money is by simply sharing your own articles to other magazines and other platforms that be willing to share your content. Because things like Oprah Magazine, the Financial Digest, these magazines are actually looking for people to write on certain topic. All you have to do is to reach out to them and ask for the calendar of content, and they'll tell you, January we're focusing on setting new goals, and February we're focusing on love, and whatever you're writing about, you can just consistently send out your content, or you work reverse, find out what they're doing, and then you create content based on that. When you have one of those magazines posting your article, usually this is the good way to go, because you're now having more people coming to check what you're doing. Affiliate marketing, that's when you get a percentage of products that you are actually sharing. So for example, if you go to my YouTube channel, underneath the description, you will see a list of affiliate links, and that's for products that I refer, and I get a percentage on them, usually from Amazon, but there's a lot of other places that you can do affiliate that are much, much better than Amazon, because they give you a bigger percentage. I think Amazon now went down to 3%-ish, but if you go to other major store, even Walmart offer affiliates. So feel free to check all these out and then use the link. And when you do that, you have to write on the bottom that you are actually using affiliate marketing. E-commerce, self-explanatory, you're selling product on the website. Ebooks, I think everybody who have knowledge should have ebooks and then sell them on Amazon. I do have a friend who created 3 small ebooks that he sells for $2.99. The way he's funneling this is that he started a YouTube channel, and on his YouTube channel, he talks about the law of attraction. So he's very consistent, like how to win at life with law of attraction. He's so consistent with his videos. He's now probably have 17,000 followers on this. But with that, he's linking up his 3 ebooks on the description. Believe me, this guy, he has a full-time job. He just do this for fun. He generates between $3,000 to $5,000 a month with the sales of his ebooks, and they are only $3. So how you would think, you know, just a simple guy writing ebooks, but again, it's the consistency, the fact that he's very niched with his topic and he's actually bringing value. So he has an audience there. So ebooks, a very good way to making an income. Online courses, very easy to do now. If you know a topic, you have different model, obviously. Here I wrote Udemy because you, do you guys know about Udemy? Can you give me a thumbs up if you do? Yes? Okay, good. So you guys know, perfect. So Udemy can be good and bad. You know, they will sell your knowledge for 10 bucks, but they will sell it to millions of people. So you have to pick. There's a great way to do this where you can actually start with Udemy and then funnel people through your Facebook group, because you can get the people information who is buying. They're not your client, they're Udemy's clients. But you can build momentum like that, and then eventually you can take them to your own online school where you can charge a lot more for your courses. YouTuber, this one requires time, right? And knowledge also. And also YouTube, I do YouTube videos every week, and it's a lot of work. I have to come up with the content. I have to have a script. I have to then do the filming, and then the editing, and then scheduling, the description, the affiliate links, all of that. It's a lot of work, but it's great funnel for you. YouTube is free. You can funnel people to get to know you, take them to a call to action, and then you can sell whatever you need. But at the end of the day, you always want to think about giving value to people. When you give them what they want, they will buy from you. So don't think about it like, oh, how can I make money? Rather think about, how can I add value to this person's life and make myself indispensable? When they really want to know from me, they'll buy from me. And also, you want to share the information for free, which is the what and the why, but you are selling the how. Remember that, it's very important. People want to know, but how can I do this? Well, let me show you. Here in this course, I'll show you how to do this. So this is important. All right, influencers. So influencer marketing, it's something that works really well with Millennium right now because Millennium don't watch commercials. They don't watch ads, but they like and they make purchases from influencers. So if you have a product or service that is targeted to Millennium, they'll be most likely, I think the number is 50% or 60% of Millennium actually click on ads that are sponsored by influencers. Like, what's her name? Kylie Jenner. Do you know how much Kylie Jenner made for one Instagram post? Can somebody know this?
If you don't know
What?
it,
You don't know?
wait.
$1 million.
One post, okay.
One post. She got paid $1 million for one post on Instagram. She's the highest paid influencer of all time. And then she one time made a negative comment about Snapchat and they lost billions in share revenue. So that's what we call influence. And they, you know, people use the influence however they like it, but influencer marketing works really well. However, if you are planning to do that, I don't recommend it to do this if you are the face of your brand, because influencer will take that. They will be the face of whatever it is. So it's good to use it for product, but for brand, if you are like, for example, me using other people, they're just gonna get confused of who's, you know, it won't really work. So use it for product rather, or if you have like a hair salon, nail salon, stuff like that. All right, app developer, self-explanatory. The only thing I want to share about app developing is that you don't have to know both. Like you can have the idea and not knowing how to develop the ad or not knowing how to code. And you can actually find people who'll be willing to work with you if you have an idea and they'll will create and execute the app. They'll code for you and vice versa. You can be an excellent coder or creating apps and then you don't know what to do. Then you partner up with people who have great ideas and put them on the market. So that exists. You can totally connect with people like that. Facebook ad manager, everybody knows how this is self-explanatory. Social media as well. You will be managing the social media content, creating the content, and then running the ads for them using the Facebook ads manager, which is a lot of work, by the way. If you are thinking about doing this, and I've done this for a while, it really is a lot of work. You have to constantly optimize the ads. You have to create different audiences. You have to understand the brand. And most of the time, you're going to have the client that's going to be asking you for results. So that's a business idea that will make you a lot of money. That's very lucrative, but you have to be able to handle the patience and the stress that goes with it. That's in my opinion. SEO, you know, you helping people put their business on the first page of Google. Copywriter, you work the copy. You can find some of these people on Fiverr and Upwork, and you can also create your own profiles on there. You don't always have to be cheap though, because a lot of time people say, well, if I'm on Fiverr, it's only going to be $5. No. I found people on Fiverr and on Upwork that charge maybe $400 per hour to do Facebook ads. What matter is your expertise and the results you bring in, and then you can up your game with the price. Content creators, another one. You come up with blog ideas and content for social media. Online coach consulting, this is what I do. There's tons of them out there. I recommend you be very specific in what you want to coach on. Do not be an everything coach. That's not going to work in your favor. There's a lot of people say, well, I'm a life coach. Well, what is a life coach? Like, what are you going to do? Like, be specific. I help divorced women go through the divorce and handle the anxiety of being a single mom, for example. That could be that. That's very niche, that's very clear, and people can come to you for that exact reason. Podcaster, I think podcast is the future. So if you are putting content out, there's 4 ways to do content out there. Audio, which would be podcast, video, which I would recommend YouTube, and then writing, so blog, article, etc. And the 4th one will be live events. For a podcaster, this is really great because it's not as saturated as YouTube, and you can actually record your YouTube videos and put them on the audio. There's a great company called Rev. I think they are doing the caption and the audio for you, and then you can just translate that. So now we have the same content, and you can do podcasts, articles, and then YouTube all at once. But if you are just starting, make sure you focus only on one platform, and then you develop that platforms as you go, because you'll hire a team that will help you do the rest. But don't try to do it all at the beginning. It's going to get messy and you're not going to be good at one thing. Graphic designer, web developer, those are self-explanatory as well. VA, virtual assistant, that's for people who really are just starting out. They're in high demand. There's such a high demand that I'm even thinking about creating my own virtual assistant agencies, because I got so many people asking me for help, and I work myself with VAs, mostly in the Philippines and in Venezuela, because you have people who are highly educated engineers and have great degrees, speak perfect English, and they cannot find jobs. So hire them. It's lower than what you would pay in the Western, and they'll do as good of a work. And that's just really up to you if you want to go that right. But for me, it's really changed my business. And then lastly is drop shipping, self-explanatory. You are just going to sell products online, just a little bit like e-commerce, but it's a lot of work as well, because you got to do your research on the product pricing, create a page, and also probably invest in ads. Okay, so that's a long list. I'd love to hear if there's somebody in the room who is doing one of these out there. Anyone? Everybody. Can people shout out what they do?
Yeah, I'm a freelance graphic designer.
Ah, cool. I think this you would never be out of job. Like, people always need designs, and it takes so much time for business owners to deal with that they're delegating that. Plus you need talents, honestly. Good. Anyone else? Yeah.
Graphic designer too, and
okay.
I work as a graphic designer since 7 years. I've learned it, and then since 5 years I have my own business.
Wow. And do you guys know each other?
No.
Ah, there we go. There you go. New connection right there. Anyone else?
To continue, so I'm running a little dropshipping side hustle since a couple of years.
Okay.
Standard thing to do in dropshipping with print-on-demand t-shirts, selling them on Amazon, and now since a couple of months as a Corona-based project, I also started my own Shopify web shop, and try to get on my own feet there, away from Amazon, and trying to keep it running now. It's not that easy. You mentioned Facebook ads being very challenging, and dropshipping itself in terms of how to find out the right pricing and right niche and audience, etc. So kind of figuring that out.
So would you agree that dropshipping is a lot of work?
I would say yes, because obviously you can start very quickly and easily. But successful, I think it's a lot of work, and you have to try many things out. So
Right, you have to, And do you focus on a specific product?
The t-shirts, so that's the product, but the challenge is to find proper designs, which is addressing a specific niche. Niches are working well from my experience of selling on Amazon.
Well, thank you for sharing. Okay, so I want to invite you to do one thing. We do have a Facebook community, and this is called the School of How To, and I can send you that, or I can send Laura. And then what we do, talking about Facebook Live, is that every Tuesday, I partner up with an agency, and we go live, and we talk about a specific topic to help you grow your business. So I hope you enjoy this. Is there anyone, friends, that have a questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Why did you decide to live the digital nomad life?
Okay, so when I moved to New York, I wasn't even 20 years old. So at that point, I was very dedicated to have my own definition of success, which back then was working and making money and achieve this unrealistic type of success, I would say, until 15 years later, first of all, I went there as an immigrant. So that means I had to work very hard to get the basic rights, getting the American citizenship, being able to go to school, being able to get some right to healthcare, and so on. So that I'm not going to say delayed me, but took a lot of my time and energy in the mission that I wanted to achieve in the US. And I think that 15 years after, when I've accomplished all of this, so I had bought a house, I had get a car, I got a job, I worked for Google, I had accomplished the things that I thought would bring me happiness in some way. And then it was about a year and a half, 2 years ago when I was, but what am I doing? Like, why am I here? My family was in Europe. I was all alone in the US. And that's where I think I then reassessed and I realized, but I don't want to do this anymore. For now, it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to go see the world and travel. And I had already built the business. And so what I did is I completely changed my business model to make it completely virtual. So I worked with a coach myself. I had worked with a coach for years, but with this specific coach, we took 6 months to change everything into virtual. So I used to do live events every month. I had a huge community in the US that used to come for my live events, and I just switched everything online. And it took a while, and there's ups and downs, but then I said, okay, I'm leaving. So at the end, I left my place, I sold my car, I put my stuff in the storage, and I was supposed to do this just for a year. I was planning to go through Asia and then back to Central America, like go around like this, Europe, Asia, Central America, and then go back to the US and settle. And after the first year, first of all, I liked it. I wanted to continue. I was like, well, this is cool. Like I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. And then also Corona hit. And then I found myself stuck in Europe for a while. And Asia is not even, I mean, I don't even know if it's open, so I haven't even been there. But what I can tell you about the digital nomad life is that it's, on one hand, really exciting because you get to really go to all these many places and all you need really is Wi-Fi. But on the other hand, it's very difficult, especially on the mental, because you have no base and you constantly live with uncertainty. So I could be somewhere very far and then you know, you have sometimes anxiety and you're thinking, well, what if I lose all my clients? And what if I lose all my money? And what if people steal my laptops? Like you really go to places that are uncertain. So it is amazing in one hand because it's how you build and become a different version of yourself. It's growth, you know? And then on the other hand, you kind of have to live the life of, well, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's see. Am I answering your question?
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Very
But I think everybody should do it. If you can do it, do it. This had changed my life. If you can do it, do it. And you can also do it with family now. People do it married with kids and they go, there's the new nomad where they stay 3 to 6 months in one country and then they go like that, you know. So there's different ways to do it. Thank you so much, everybody, for having me. Please reach out if I can be on any support. And it was a pleasure on my end to speak with you today.
I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. But before you go, I do have a free gift for you. Please download the free guides, the tools you need to run and operate an online business. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you'll be notified every Thursday for a new video like this. Again, thank you and see you soon. Bye-bye. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Selua. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Selua. Forget it, intro first.